And so, welcome back. Danielle Vidia here with the Holistic Harmony Tribe YouTube channel. This is my special guest and co-host, Santina from Born to Vibe.
Hi.
Yay! We miss Santina. She's been away. Where have you been? Let's recap once again.
Really quickly, I left New York in May, have been a little bit outside of Pittsburgh since then, just doing all the festivals.
That's where I always forget. They're like, where's Santina? I'm like, I don't know.
I know. I texted Dana
really
yesterday, and she was like, how's Philly? And I'm like, actually, Pittsburgh. She's like, I knew that. I'm like, I know you did. It's okay. Philly's so much closer to New York than Pittsburgh is. I get it. I totally get it.
Starts with a P.
It's the same thing. Like 2 P's in one state. It's all good.
Amazing. Right?
2 P's in one state that starts with a P. It's all good.
Absolutely. Same difference.
Yeah. So just that. I'm going to my 9th festival of the summer this weekend, Labor Day weekend. So I'm just very happy to be back.
We're
Danielle
happy to have
is
you.
the first friend that I have been like, I need to see you since
I
coming back this trip.
Oh.
Yes.
And we're recording. We're working.
That's
okay.
Even on our
we
downtime,
love our work.
We work. Yeah, because
we
what we
love
like
our
to
work.
do is not actually work for us.
Exactly.
So, but that's my first question is,
we're so blessed.
We have been so busy separately while I've been away. So what really has been going on?
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because that's totally your personality.
Just a few more thousand certificates.
Just like a few more thousand certificates that she does not know where they are still.
I have no idea what's happening. Since May. Okay, so I intended to launch this podcast that we are now picking up and re-recording for with this episode. Yeah. Pretty much.
So basically they will have heard what we recorded, the 2 that we recorded before, or the 1. It was just 1. Maybe 2.
We might have done 2. We might have even done 3. Who the heck even knows anymore?
But what we're putting out right now, it's recording now. You're hearing after those. So this has been like a time lapse. Yeah. So what you just heard, quote unquote, the week before, like the episode before, this is a time lapse of 3 months.
That's interesting. Yes, it is.
So just keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind because it feels like 15 lifetimes have passed since those 3 months.
Pretty much did.
You're right.
So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
We're different people here.
We are different people. Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you? All right. So who am I? At this point, I think I am a Reiki master teacher.
I would agree.
Check.
Check.
I have written a book.
She has a book to prove it. So
my God. Can you grab that over there and we'll just show it to our YouTube viewers? So if you're checking us out on our YouTube channel, Holistic Harmony Tribe, we have what the Reiki cover looks like. You can flip it over and see the back Vanna. Yeah, Vanna White here. Oh my God. Real deal book. So, it's been a crazy ride. I definitely did not anticipate having that under my belt, but I worked vigorously. Yeah. I mean, kind of, but you never know how big a project is going to be until you start to unroll it. And you're like, what the hell? I noticed that when I used to plan weddings, because I used to be a floral designer, as we know, doing high-end party decorations and weddings and stuff. And, I would always tell my brides, like, you just don't know how much work and details are involved in this party planning.
Yeah.
You're creating the biggest vision of your most special day ever of your life.
That you're having all the photos and videos to, like, last forever. To prove.
Right. Let's time capsule it, bury it, and have,
no pressure.
Like, aliens find it in, 200 years from now. But, yeah. So, it's just that kind of thing where you just don't know how heavy and how deep and involved these projects are. And of course, being the type of person that I am, I'm not like, oh, let me print it, staple it, hand it out.
Here's my first draft. Oh, it's not centered on the... That's all right. Send it through.
No. Yeah. I was like a maniac with this freaking book. And there's still tweaks that need to be altered on this first run. And I'm sure when I go through the first training, which is happening on Friday, that I'm going to be underlining and, just kind of editing.
No, it didn't work live.
Right.
Was super good on the computer.
Right.
Mixing that from the last.
This didn't flow well, or this wasn't necessary, or I need to add to this. These were great questions that I got from my students. Like, I want this to be a thing that kind of grows with me in my practice of teaching. Because my Reiki practitioner practice of doing these healing sessions on other people is dynamically different than me attuning people and teaching them how to do it on themselves and therefore other people as well. So, you know, although I've done over 100 Reiki sessions on individuals, I have not attuned anyone yet. So I anticipate that this will grow with me.
Yeah.
And over the next year or so that I conduct these sessions, will I be adding and tweaking things and making them just a little bit more comprehensible or, you know, more informative.
Right. I would just say make sure when you go on Friday that you're tweaking the first run through and not trying to write book 8 in book 1.
Oh, God, yeah. I think I relinquished that a while ago. I didn't realize how heavy and detailed these books were going to be, and I had anticipated getting finished with 1, 2, and 3 by this month.
L-O-L. Hee-hee.
So, you know? Yeah.
It's just like, it's okay to not be at the end now.
Right. I don't want to be, because I feel like the amount of pressure that was put on me by myself to want to get it done within a certain time frame, as well as all of the excitement caused by others waiting to take it, where people are like, when is it coming out?
Yeah.
The best question, what's the deadline? I'm like, there's no freaking deadline.
There's no deadline.
I'm like, it's going to come out when I freaking finish it. You know what I mean?
How is there a deadline? You know who I am. You know I don't have a boss. I am the boss. I'm the girl boss. Put it up again.
Here we go.
I'm the girl boss, okay? So basically the deadline is when I say there's a deadline. That means when it's done.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't think that people really know that.
But that's meant as a compliment, obviously.
Totally.
People don't realize that them saying to you or asking you, when's this happening, is actually putting on a ton of stress and pressure. They're
no
just
idea.
like, I can't wait to buy it, or
Right.
I can't wait to support you. I can't wait to be in your class because I already know I love and appreciate and respect you.
Yes. And I value that
you
so much.
You value the
really
intention,
do.
but
Totally.
the fact of the matter is that the product is still, oh my gosh, people know that this is hanging, this is looming, that I've like committed to this, and I'm maybe not like actually putting out what I said I was going to in the time I thought I was going to. And that stresses you only for you.
Well, because most people have deadlines at their job.
Mm-hmm. Most
people have bosses that are requiring them to do certain things within certain time frames.
Yeah.
I am that. So I think that that's also just a dynamic that people don't exactly think about because they're not exposed to it. And so, you know, being the one that provides every aspect of everything is quite honestly really exhausting.
It's draining. How is it not? Like, hello.
Hi.
Hello, take a sip of a White Claw.
Okay.
Oh, actually, this is so off-brand for me. So sorry, White Claw. I know I want to be sponsored by Lime.
We switched from Lime.
But I ran out.
We ran out.
So I'm going to go to my next favorite.
Oh, cracking it right in
Black
front of the
Cherry.
mic.
If you want to sponsor me, too. Sponsor this podcast. Sponsor this YouTube, Holistic Harmony.
Well, you think
Cheers.
The fruit, the individual fruit, is a sponsor? Like, I think White Claw would be the general sponsor.
No, it would totally be White Claw.
Lime
I'm just saying.
Like, I could see, like, a little lime coming through and being like, I want to sponsor.
No, it's totally White Claw. I'm just letting you know where, like, my pull lies. It's with the lime. We're
lime girls. I drink the lime because no one else wants it. And I feel that I balance out the flow and influx of what's left over at the end. That it works out very even because I drink
we're garbage cans. We're
garbage cans. Dumpsters. I'm a dumpster.
I'm proud of who I am. I respect.
Amazing.
Respect me. I respect you.
So this has been a huge part of my summer as well. Not as huge as the Reiki, obviously, but
quote unquote, obviously, because the other 8 books aren't done.
Right. So whoopsies, but what are you gonna do? You gotta live. No, this summer, definitely, one for the books. You've toned
it down a little bit. You've toned it down with your, like, constant need to be everyone's everything and be everywhere for everyone.
There's no way. I think the summer warrants that, where it's kind of like everybody's like, who cares? Like, I'm good
free.
Right now.
You feel as free as you ever can during it's
Which
true.
is, that dangerous season where things can get dynamically out of control.
Yeah.
So, at the same token, I am looking forward to the fall kind of
to regroup,
coming forward and really getting centered again and starting this new chapter with just so many other things that are going on.
Well, what's the plan with the book? Like, you have it in your possession right now. You said you're going to do the class Friday. You're going to make some edits and tweaks. Are you going to reprint? Did you only get a couple?
I got 5.
Okay, to make for that reason.
I got 5. I got 1 for myself and enough for 2 sessions. So the sessions are going to be for individuals that are looking to advance their knowledge on energy and really their own self-care and healing.
And this is beginner.
This is beginner.
Like, I've never had a Reiki session ever, so I could take this class and be just as caught up as everyone?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If not more so. Because you're getting the real deal, deep information that, again, I pulled from other resources aside from my own training to really make something that is super out there because you can't see it, super otherworldly, new age, whatever you want to call it. But realistically, to me, is the most ancient form of information that we have moved away from, and I'm now coming back towards from my culture.
Session?
5 hours.
5 hours.
It is a 5-hour session each time. So that brings me to the next thing is that people are asking me to buy the book individually, and that is not an option. You have to take my training in order to receive the book. Because there's a level of knowledge that is received through the conversation of the actual course.
So the book is the final product.
The book is the final product. I learned how to do the attunements and how to offer this to other people over the last 6 months the first 6 months of this year. The book is now my extension of how am I going to teach this to other people.
Once it's not like read the book, learn about Reiki, then come to it's come to the class, and then this book is the physical, tangible, final product, which for somebody like me personally, that is amazing because I'm a very, I need to get involved in what I'm doing to, know, and then, but I also am such a memory person, but I love, photos and videos because I have memory, but I like to look back at something that, represents the memory I already have in my head, in my heart, in my soul. So to have a book to be the final product, it's like all that you've already done is actually a memory because it's already been done. You can't go back to that class. It's happened.
The experience is had.
So now you have the tangible, now you have the tangible book.
It's like the evidence of it.
It's the proof that you did it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. I did not know this concept at all. This
and I don't
so fresh,
think
so
very
new.
many people do. So if you want to grab that book for a sec, I'm kind of comfortable with at least just showing a little bit of it.
That's why even when you showed me downstairs, I just flickered through the page. I didn't want to steal too much info.
Yeah, no. So there are where am I? There are techniques and, hand gestures and all of these things. So basically, any of the techniques, as I went through this training, that I revisited but forgotten. In other words, I'm looking through my Reiki level 1 that I took years ago, and I'm like, I don't freaking remember any of this. I definitely don't do this as my own self-care. Yeah. And if I'm not...
Then how are you
based on how many people I'm giving sessions to, which I practice Reiki a lot,
regularly,
then other people definitely aren't either.
Yeah.
And so there were many things that I came across that I was kind of
look at my arms.
Yeah, thanks. There were many things that I came across that I was just kind of I really have forgotten all of these things.
So amazing.
And so by reading them, they were not really clear to me as I'm trying to pull this information out of my other resources, including my own training. And so I researched then what exactly it did mean or was supposed to look like or feel like or whatever. And then I had I had 3 sessions of photo shoots where I went in and was like, here's the technique. Right. I need a shot of this. I need a shot of this. I need a shot of this. And, you know, I illustrated now what these things look like so that people can, years from now, go back into their book and be like, oh, okay, this is the technique that I'm doing. This is what it looks like.
Honestly, that is so amazing because I'm not even kidding you. Like, that just makes me feel like, you know, I have never felt like anywhere other than a beginner in, like, anything. Like, anything yoga, like you know that. Even in, like, yoga classes, like, at Afterglow, whatever, I don't actually think I mean, anyone would benefit from a beginner class. Yes, anyone could. Going back to the basics.
Even the most advanced yogi, because your body's always changing.
Yeah, anybody could, yes. Mm-hmm. But I also am a person that's a little bit too slow paced for my style. So going into a class, I can keep up. But even just saying some of the, like, poses or whatever, like, I still am like, oh, like, I have to kind of, like, look out of the side of my eye to make sure I know that I'm confirming I'm doing the right thing. Right. That's going back to a basic.
Well, yeah, and also think about it in this way. So let's say you've been doing yoga for years, and the depths that I'm able to reach in my postures 6 years ago versus now are going to be dynamically different. Therefore, Warrior 1 now is going to look and feel very different in my body than it did in the beginning. Right. So, to me, going back to basics just means learning yourself on an even deeper level at where you're at right now. Totally. As well as how much you're able to absorb about it, because chances are, when you first got involved into your yoga practice, you were really hung up on the shapes that your body was making and how physical it was and how you were able to move and, you know, glide into these postures or lack thereof, versus when you're in a situation where you come to yoga and you're just like so outside of yourself and really just looking to get grounded and you're not focused on your postures or what your body looks like at all. Your mind's wandering, you're exiting the room. Versus when you're really deep into your practice and you've been going every day consistently and you're in this really great headspace, and where can I reach my Warrior 2 now? Yeah. You know, like, there's all different layers of the practice. You're never going to be the best or perfect yogi.
That doesn't exist.
Can we, like, just know this for real? There is no perfect yoga. There is no the best or strongest yogi. It doesn't work like that. There's so many layers and aspects of yoga, mentally, energetically, physically, and beyond, that if you're striving to be the best at any one aspect of it for yourself in comparison to anyone else, you are not doing yoga. Yeah. You're not even doing it.
You're still letting your ego, like, control the whole mat. Your ego is on the mat, not you.
Yes. Right. So, you know, even the most beginner-based class, which is like, you know, with my beginner workshop, for example, you will leave that workshop whether you are, I've changed the name to Foundations of Yoga, because whether you have a practice, don't have a practice, been practicing for years or whatnot, you're going to learn something either way, because I've taken the real basics of my teacher training and then placed that into the basics of yoga, meaning, like, do you know what Namaste translates to and why we say it to one another? Right. Do you know what Om actually does, how to say it, and where you're supposed to be feeling it and what it does?
Exactly.
Do you know why we, you know, do all these other things, the breathing techniques, the balancing of the brains,
There's something that this yoga studio that I went to before Afterglow, although I decided to leave them, that I really loved, that was a comment that they made, was always, in certain classes, they would focus specifically on breathing. Like, you wouldn't do a single pose. And they would go, a lot of people would say, why are we doing this? Like, we're not really doing yoga. And they're like, but what you don't realize is that the breathing is the foundation of yoga. So.
Right. I mean, I think that you could look at everything as the foundation of yoga if you want to focus on it.
Right.
But yes, the breathing aspect of it
just
is major.
If you're in a pose, whatever, and you're not breathing, like you're not practicing yoga.
No.
You're practicing like some like, oh my god, I'm torturing myself. Like you're not.
You're practicing your daily life that you live on a regular basis, where you're like
form.
getting caught, hitting brick walls.
In physical form.
Yep.
Yeah. So but basically, like the first step is figure out how to breathe, because no one, until you're like doing something like yoga or something of that nature, you're not sitting there thinking about how you breathe. Have you ever thought about how you blink? Have you ever thought about how you just like yawn, like, you know
swallow.
What I mean? It's like swallow,
like
it's just all things that like you don't think about. So when you're actually doing something like yoga, the breathing is really the first step to like bring awareness to that.
Well, the breath is always going to also bring you back to the present moment.
Right.
Because if you're able to focus on the inhales and the exhales, then you're less likely to focus on the to-do lists and what this person said to me and how this situation's going to be next week. Yeah. And all of that. So breath is super important. I mean, again, that's another thing that I touch base on. You know, I basically touched base on in my foundations workshop of, you know, not only postures, but the time in, you know, why we settle into the room to release everything that's happened to us before we've gotten there. The breath, we focus on Ujjayi breath and all the different techniques. I give them charts on how to inhale and exhale to certain times so that you can calm down the brain or get more energy if you need it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's really, you know, regardless of how long you've been practicing yoga, chances are you are going to leave that workshop more advanced than a person that has been practicing yoga for many years, because there is not enough time in an hour or 75-minute or 90-minute class to talk about a 5,000-year-old practice in its complete depth.
Yeah, no.
You cannot learn everything about yoga. That's the other thing. Like, you can't be like all-knowing. You're not omniscient about yoga.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't learn a 5,000-year-old practice. Everybody has their own spin and interpretation over the last few thousand years. How are you going to know every aspect of it? And the moment that you think that you're the best or know everything is the moment that you're not growing anymore. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know how we got on that topic, but...
Anyway, the book is coming out after you take... How many classes is it then? 5 hours per class?
Okay, so level 1 is 5 hours.
Okay.
You will receive this book during this training. Level 2, I have not published yet.
Right.
You will receive that during a 5-hour training as well. They're all 5-hour sessions.
Okay.
So there's level 1, level 2, level 3.
Basically, after 5 hours of level 1, you are like, checkmark, like I have the basics of Reiki. Like,
I know the history of where it came from. In my training specifically, I know how energy started, where it came from, how it's transferred, the 3 different ways that people resonate with it, how it's felt, how it's seen, how it's, you know, perceived.
Okay.
You know, I really went hard into...
Because you're a very science-based person.
I am so science.
Let's like... Which, okay, let me just say this. I hated math and science in school. So would someone like me, who's hearing about all this like science-based things, and my heart's starting to race, would this be something that's still cohesive for me? Obviously the answer is yes. I know the answer is yes, because this is clearly beneficial. But how do I get past that barrier of like changing my mind to like, this is something I'm learning about, something in my mind I think I could never resonate with because it associates with school and testing and blah.
Well,
how do I make it, you know what I mean? How do I think make that transition?
That's a great question. So, and that is exactly why I've made so many transitions the way that I have in my life and my career at this point, because I recognize that this is a practice that is very intimate. And there needs to be a connection from student to teacher.
Has to be.
In order for you to feel comfortable with this, again, otherworldly, outside the box, you know, cannot be seen, new agey, whatever you want to call it.
Not what you were born growing up with
in this society, at least, in this side of the world.
Not what you were taught growing up as a kid. This is something that you are finding on your own, venturing out of what your mom and dad had taught you as a child.
Right.
You're finding your own path. Like
Which I feel should be given to us on an elementary school level, which is why I've become so passionate about releasing this kind of information to people, as well as developing channels and podcasts like we're recording right now, because once I then introduce that level of information to people, I feel obligated to have the responsibility of being able to be there for them and coach them, not on an individual basis, because that I just don't, there's not enough hours in the day for that.
Never.
But on a group basis of like-minded people where we can kind of connect and talk about things in this way, this is my way of extending that extra support to the person that is learning about this kind of stuff for the first time
and
with
let
me.
2020 speak for itself. This upcoming year is going to be
2020, man. That hindsight is real.
Like, let's just let 2020 speak for itself. Yeah. I personally feel, as I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
But, so for somebody who is struggling to be like, I just can dive into this because I have so many triggers or fears or apprehensions.
Especially with the science aspect, I feel like you wouldn't even know going through this course that with conversation like this that you're learning science on that level.
Yeah.
That's not even going to be a thought in your mind.
Right. Because that makes sense. Like the word you just used, conversation, that resonates with me. Like when I would study for my major exams in college, I would have to spend X amount of time by myself because I just had to like just do it on my own.
Yeah.
Just to like figure out how I was reading something, interpreting something, but then I also had to study with a group of people because I needed the conversation.
Of course.
I would remember the answer by how I was like, oh, me and Danielle were talking about this White Claw we're about to cheers and take a sip of. And then, like, we did it, and then I remembered doing that, and then, all of a sudden wrote it down on the exam. Boom!
Right.
Nailed it!
Like a Pavlov's dog kind of thing with the ringing of the bell. Yeah. There is definite growth that occurs when you take the tools and the resources that you've gathered and you share it with other people that are going to have different perspectives than you. That's how we grow. If you just isolate and take all of the information that you possibly can and keep it for yourself, you will stay right there.
Yeah, and you're gonna experience new things from what you're student.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like you are going to grow from this too. You're going to gain from this too.
There is so much karmic release that happens in these sessions.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of blockages that are being removed, because of the energy that is being passed through the body, because of all of the trauma that is stuck, that gets jarred and moved around. I will forever now be building these relationships with people where they're gonna experience profound growth in ways that none of us could ever imagine.
Yeah. And
that will just continue to add to the material that's in these. You know, I have a testimonial section on the back cover on the bottom. Yeah, so that people can see that, like, I've been practicing Reiki for a long time. This is from someone who's very special to me that, has been receiving treatments from me for a couple of years, and her experience with that. I have medical miracles that have happened for me with people with cysts shrinking, and just really profound information that's in here. Yeah. This Reiki is used in cancer centers, hospitals. It is being recognized in many, many places that have a lot of validity and hold a lot of weight that we've been lacking for a really long time.
It's literally the time.
Right. It's like The Rock, when The Rock comes back to an arena and they're like, finally, The Rock has come back to Long Island. Reiki is here.
But it's like, it is. That's what I'm saying. Like, 2020, it's the time. Like, there's this energetic shift that it's like, it is time. Open your eyes. If you won't, I'm going to pull them behind your head for you.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like I've been consistently coming correct with the energetic shifts that have been happening on a monthly basis by giving people those reports that are on my YouTube channel.
Which, if you don't watch.
Definitely revisit them, because it'll just answer some questions.
She'll say in the videos, she'll be like, even if you're not watching when this was made. Like this, there's a reason that you're finding this video at the time that you are, because with anything, and the timing that you're doing it is the time that it's meant to be. You're in the right moment that you are. It's the truth. And I love that she says that, because so many times with even just not for nothing, being too busy to watch something, spend 17 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, even if it's a new song that just came up by your favorite artist, and you can't have 3 minutes to actually take the time to focus on it, you don't have the 3 minutes.
Right.
So the point...
And you're not going to absorb as much either.
You're not going to absorb it. You're not going to feel it the same.
There's just a better time for it.
You know when is the right time to sit down and be like, this is what I've wanted to do for X amount of time. I want to see this. I want to hear this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And for you to sit there and say you're watching this at the right time that you're meant to, when someone's watching this 7 months later, is like, whoa.
Right? Yeah,
you know?
I feel like that's definitely gonna like pull some heartstrings and like, you know, affect someone in an empowering kind of way. Cool.
You know?
Thanks.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I've been really trying to, as a whole, tap into the energy, and, you know, I thought I understood energy really deeply prior to this project, but writing this book that has literally translated into a textbook of energy.
Like, again, physical, tangible.
Tangible. I like
physical, tangible. Physical, tangible.
I'm gonna get
book.
Physical, tangible. Oh my God. This brought me to the next level even of really understanding energy exponentially. And, you know, going through level 1, level 2, level 3, it was the 5 months of the teacher training years later, after practicing Reiki on hundreds of people, that really got me to the point where I was like, I actually think I know what's going on here.
You got it.
Know?
Like, make
crazy
sense. Check mark.
Yeah. So
that's amazing. I feel like we've like gone so much into this book, and I can't even wait to just take a class, like all that, and we haven't even scratched the surface a little bit.
No.
That's so beautiful.
So thank you. So I'm really taking this time to roll out these first sessions.
Yeah.
And see what tweaks and changes need to be done. Bringing it into the studio on a monthly basis. And giving some love and light, man, in some other ways. And, you know, a large part of me feels as though this is very much so my life path, to extend this to other people.
No doubt.
Because,
like, no doubt.
You know, giving it as a practitioner was already like a big deal, where it was like, wow, you know, I'm really giving Reiki and healing and understanding and awareness to people on these energetic depths that are really super cool. Yeah. But to now teach them how to do it, not only for themselves, but actually give it to other people that I'll never know.
Yeah, totally.
Is like,
totally,
I wish my grandma was here to see that.
Ah, that's beautiful.
For real. I think this project has made me miss her more than ever.
Whoa.
Because this is the first time that I've completed something that I haven't been able to take and show her. And I know that she would have been just as excited about it. And even if she didn't understand it completely, just really proud to see, like, my freaking face in this book. Like, you know, like, so major. Yeah.
Actually kill me.
So, you know, it's been a roller coaster of a ride in regards to all of that. Because as much as I feel so fulfilled and impacted by this project, I also very equally feel extremely drained. And also very much nostalgic for the support that I wish I could have from someone that's just not here anymore, including my friend Kelly too.
Right.
Which is, you know, she's all over that back cover of the catalyst of why I even explored Reiki in the first place. So, you know, I think that with that being said, you know, this makes it even that much of a more real personal project.
Therapeutic too.
For me.
You probably like healed so much in so many different ways. Or,
you know, I'm not the healer. It's really the way that the course explains in my training is that, you know, it's the divine love and light and energy that's all around us. That prana, that life force that exists, that makes the heart beat, that makes the organs function, that we don't even give a second thought to.
Yeah.
And, you know, that motherly touch that as soon as someone gets wounded, you put your hands on them to help heal them. You know, that
and you do that exactly,
right, of all of that, right.
And you don't even know that that's why you're doing it.
So that's all stuff that I cover in that
amazing.
course.
Why, like, a mother would just know to kiss the boo-boo, and you're not even somebody who practices with anything with, and this is amazing.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
I'm absolutely so intrigued, so proud of you.
Thanks.
I'm just so amazed.
That was a big fucking deal. Sorry for cursing on my channel, but
it is.
That was like a big deal, you know? Like, I really didn't expect it to be that big of a project, but...
I love that you're sitting here saying that was a big fucking deal.
It was a big fucking deal.
You know what? Because you know what? You are somebody who gives so much of yourself, who I don't think, like, expects or... I don't mean, like, appreciates. I don't mean that. But you don't, like, even feel like you deserve the recognition for something that you do. It's like on to the next. Like, I have so many things that I'm trying to, like, do or give to people because you're such a giver. That it's like you're literally sitting in this, that you're like, wow, that was more work than I thought. That was a lot taken from me. This is a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Because, right, I don't do that. I
that's
usually
not,
am just kind of
like,
okay, whatever. No, it's like, whatever. I'm teaching 9, 11 classes a week. It's fine.
It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
I'm still doing hair. Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I've eaten today.
What's the deadline? I don't know, but I'm fine.
Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you're...
No, I did. I scaled back a lot. Like, especially in the month of August, I was kind of just like, fuck this. I'm going to Maryland. I'm celebrating my birthday. Like, I'm doing whatever it is that I need to do to check out. Yeah. I'm getting a cell phone that, like, no one can even find me or understand how to even get in touch with me. Yeah, I got 2 phones, like, whatever.
And I'm proud of that. So then what has helped you deal with that music, I'm sure? What shows? You've been going to shows.
Oh, yeah. So definitely went to... Finally, you started going to shows, which definitely has helped. You know, as I've expressed to you when you first got here, which is kind of funny, I just feel like I really need to go into a mosh pit and, like, definitely bruise someone and, like, punch their face. Like, I just need to let that anger and that aggression out in a way that's acceptable. and that, for me, you know, growing up as a metalhead and a rocker, like, that's my form of kind of letting that aggression out. And I have not been in a general admission setting in a really long time, and I feel like it's time.
I'm gonna bring you to a festival. Listen, there's this artist, if you don't know him, I'm gonna shout him out right now, Sullivan King.
Okay.
He's an EDM artist, you know, he's a DJ producer, but his core is metal, is rock.
Oh, I love that.
And he blends the 2 genres so phenomenally.
See, that's my style right there.
You will love it. So he brings, like, the hardcore of metal and rock, but he brings the, like, vibe and the unity and just, like, the feeling of oneness of EDM.
Nice.
And he blends them together so magically. You will love him. And he's just a good guy. He has a beautiful wife that they have an amazing relationship. Like, everything about the situation is just, like, yes.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool. Like, that's him. Like somebody that you wanna
follow them. You wanna support them because you know that they're a good person. Right. You know that they're putting out good energy, good vibes, good music. That they have a reason for what they're doing.
Right.
You would love.
So I think that's where it's at for me is kind of like that next level of who am I spending my time with now.
Right.
You know, I feel like I've been
who are you spending your time with now?
Obviously.
Me.
I feel like I've been spending a lot of time with my students over the last couple of years and, lots of, people that need me for assistance. And I love that so much. And it makes me grow and empowers me as well. But also the last few months, I've kind of really been stepping it up a notch where I've been, like, working with a guru and having, meditation practice and working with stylists and, things like that are things that are outside of my wheelhouse or, you know, just I need that like extra knowledge because they've dedicated their life solely to that, and that's not what my purpose is about completely.
Right.
So I need those like people that have those extra resources and those sharper tools, therapists, whatever.
Totally.
You know, I've been really just keeping consistent with that kind of stuff to really make sure that I'm advancing and growing and not like falling in the cracks as I'm trying to like take a step up. Because this ground's not supporting me because it's not level.
Woo!
Yeah.
Say that one more time. This ground's not supporting me.
This ground is not supporting me. So, you know, I have to make sure that I'm filling in the cracks with whatever it is that I can and having fun in the meantime without having my whole life blow by. Because that's the flip side of that, is that things are so busy and so chaotic and so fast paced and so much growth and so much dynamics. It's like, oh my God, like, can we just freaking be normal humans for a moment? Like, let me drink White Claw at 4 o'clock. It's 4:20. So let me drink, let me drink White Claw for a moment and, like, have a good time while I'm writing this Reiki manual. You know, like, that's the fun balance. And again, you know, I think that that's the thing that's going to attract my student base towards me for this training, which I already have. If I had to put a number on it, I would say level 1, I've got about 30 people waiting.
I'm sure. And I'm like, and I'm looking at my watch like, how am I going to move back to New York and get in on this? Like,
or what 5-hour block is this going to fit in while I'm here? Right.
I have some work to do before I get done, but
so you know, that's where it's at for me. I'm just trying to like keep it
though you would do beginner 1 for any person in that, or are you gonna switch to like, if you're done with, like, wait, that's good. If you personally as a teacher have moved on from phase 1 and you're now in your book mode, in your teaching mode of phase 2. If someone comes along like, hey, I need phase 1, are you like, no, I'm on this journey too, like, I can't go back. I need to, like, basically work with your students to get to that end level. That's actually good.
Well, I think that that's kind of translated in my classes where, like, people that were completely no practice at all have gotten to a place where it's pretty much like you can take any class now.
Yeah.
You might not be able to do all of the postures, but you can take any class and follow along and feel confident in that and challenge yourself and grow more.
If you choose, or be in the pose that you can be in and be confident in that pose.
And then that elevated me to a level where now I'm like, cool, so now I can teach my students a little bit more advanced and beef up my teaching style and watch them grow physically as well.
Yeah.
So that was like a whole phase. And then I went really hard with like wanting to really beef up my students and help them develop and grow and do these arm balances and these like inversions and all that kind of stuff. And then after that was kind of like out of my system maybe, or like just like done on their end too, where like they were kind of just like, okay, like I'm working on this. This might take me a couple years though, but I'm working on it.
I can't.
Then I was like, oop, let's dial it back and go back to the internal. And so
like
now
maybe where you felt like that was like something coming out of you, where you needed other people to do something because you were needing something.
Man, I say that shit in my classes all the time, right? I'm always like, what is the last thing that I say in my class? I'm like, you know, thanking people for allowing me to be a guide. And you know, it's my honor to guide you and walk alongside you on this journey that we're on together.
Exactly.
Because I create zero hierarchy in my classes between myself and my students. I really try to build an equality where, you know, we're on the same level, we're all seeking.
Right.
To me, that's all the same level. What stage you're at, how far along you are, what you look like when you're doing it, I don't care. I don't care. And if you care about it on my end, get out of here.
Right.
You know, like, we're not meant for each other. We're not vibing.
There's so much space that we could fill.
What?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really, I say it all the time. If one person was missing out of this space when I'm in my classes, the energy would be different.
Yeah.
If each person decided not to show up and be devoted to their practice, I would be speaking to an empty room.
Right.
What good is that?
Exactly.
So, realistically, I am nothing without my students, and, there's something else with me. Something more,
Oh my gosh.
And that's just what that. It is.
You are so amazing. I seriously appreciate every single part of you. I appreciate you taking the time to allow me into your home, into your world.
Oh my God, never leave.
No, I just love it so much because I know that we truly value our time. We respect each other's time with knowing that we're doing our thing as like fully as possible, and that we literally look at one another as somebody that is worthy of taking some of that space. Yeah. So that's super beautiful, I think.
Yeah, me too. Thanks. Yeah. I really appreciate that because I feel like it's these moments where we kind of can digest that a little bit. Yeah. And not feel so much like justifying, like, what am I doing? People think the same thing about me. What the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Right. Like, you're literally, like, you're 36 years old. Like, you're not married. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. Are you dating? That's the question that people have. Like, if they're not interested in all this other stuff that I'm doing, right. They're literally just like, so what's going on the boyfriend front? Are you dating? And I'm just like, are you kidding?
Are you sad that you're not dating? Like,
why can you not even ask me that? Like, right. But, I know that it's all in love, in the fact that people want me to have a partnership and
experience the love
totally.
And all that.
And I get that. Yeah. And I get that. And like I tell people, like, listen, man, I make time for people that are worth it. Right. I will absolutely drop a class or whatever I gotta do. Stay out late, not wake up as early, whatever it is to make time for a person that's worth it. I'm into it. But the person has to be really worth it.
Believe that.
Yeah. And so if they're not showing me or meeting me where I need to be met at, then I'm not going to dim my light.
You're not gonna backtrack to like level down with somebody who doesn't deserve it. No, we passed that. Yeah. We girl bosses out here. We're gonna bring back the sign. Yeah.
Thanks, Teresa. Shout out to Teresa. Teresa bought me this.
That's amazing.
So yeah. So any more Reiki questions? I mean, I kind of like your spin on all of this because the other thing that I keep getting is that people are asking me if they could just buy the book.
See, I am coming in blind. Like,
right. The answer is no.
We haven't really talked about what's going on in a while. This is an organic conversation. Totally. I completely learned from this. I am like mesmerized.
And I think, thank you, other people will as well, because that's the thing. Like, people are like, let me know when the book is out so that I can buy it. And it's like, no, it's a part of the training. Like, it's a textbook. Exactly. Which I feel weird even saying that, because it's like, it's not a textbook, but, at the same token, it's like, it's an additive to the, very personal, intimate training that you will receive. So my answer to people when they ask me that is, if you have another person that wants to take this training with you, I will travel and come to you and do the training. Wow. And you can get the book that way, because that's the only way that I will extend this book out. You can't read the material
before you take the
class and be like, I'm a Reiki practitioner. No. It doesn't work like that. There is a transfer of
the energy
and opening of the channels through symbols and breath work and other very personal things that happen person to person in my training that you can't receive any other way. So you could read the book 50 times. You're not going to get the same stuff that you're going to get if you take the training. Yeah. It's not the whole thing. It's a big part of it.
It's one of 8. We got this.
It's one of 8. For real.
We got this. Love you. Thank you. Love this. Love you. Thank you.
So that's been my summer, wrapping it up in regards to that. I'm going to see, Bush Live in Our Lady Peace on Thursday, which is like, I'm a 90s girl. I really am. I'm going to see Breaking Benjamin and Chevelle
I know,
on
that's
Saturday.
what I was jealous. You asked me, I'm like, I was like, dude, I wish I would have loved to come to that. Thank you for inviting me, though.
Absolutely. But, concerts, I'm always down. And,
Once I get my apartment, you'll come visit me.
Oh my God,
yeah, for sure.
I'm about to drive back with you.
For sure, Tom.
So, if you like this channel, if you're watching the YouTube channel, please hit the like button, the subscribe button. If there's any things that you want to suggest, request in regards to us having conversations about and, covering topics on, please write a comment. If you're listening to this podcast, thank you so much for sticking with us. I know sometimes Santina and I have very lengthy conversations.
Because they're so good.
Yeah, they're so good. And we love you guys. So follow Santina, Born to Vibe.
Yeah.
Follow Holistic Harmony Tribe.
Yeah.
And until we meet again, namaste.
Namaste.